Hello. So today we're going to be doing something a little different. Not going to be doing a unboxing as I normally do, but instead we'll be taking a look at my collection, or at least a part of my collection. And that part is my all of my Vaporwave vinyl records that I've collected over the years. Well, when I think about it, I actually think it's been a little bit since a year since I started collecting Vaporwave vinyl. And for the most part, that's kind of one of my main focuses when I'm looking for vinyl records. My main focuses are just really good albums that you can get for like a cheap price new with like a modern reissue, so something you don't have to spend a ton of money on. I like to collect Japanese pressings of Japanese like city pop albums, which are typically the most expensive, and but they're really, really great to have. And I like to collect Vaporwave vinyl, and I check out a lot of, go on the Vaporwave vinyl subreddit, which is a very good resource for finding Vaporwave releases, and honestly probably the best Vaporwave community on Reddit. The Vaporwave subreddit is really not very good. So yeah, today we're going to be looking at my Vaporwave collection. And starting off, we have one that I think kind of a lot of people have, kind of one of those obligatory ones that a lot of people just go like, oh, I had to get this one, and that is the Floral Shop Macintosh Plus pressing. My copy is a little dinged up. When it arrived, it was quite badly dented in the corner, as you can see. Kind of disappointing, and as you will soon see, the record was kind of bent. But yeah, it is, in a way, it's a good pressing, but it's pretty cheap. I can tell it's pretty cheaply done. I don't know how well you'll be able to see it here, but okay, there it is. Right around here, you will notice a bit of a, I'm honestly not sure what it is. Right about here, you'll notice a line stretching across the record. Oh my gosh! Well, that's just gonna stay, I don't care. There's a line going across the record. I'm not entirely sure what caused that. It's almost like a bend, but it's not really that warped. I don't know. It's kind of annoying looking. The sound quality is pretty decent. It was really bad until I got an anti-static brush, and it actually made it listenable. For a while, I couldn't listen to it. It was so staticky. So, I mean, yeah, it's a cool pricing to have. Definitely one that a lot of people want. You see posts on it on the Vapor Vinyl subreddit all the time. So much so that people are like, we need to ban these Floral Shop posts. There's too many of them. But I don't really care. It's just, you know, it's a good entry point. But I will say it's kind of a disappointing pressing, and definitely not one of the best quality ones compared to what else you can get. So next, well, I kind of just put this here. The other Macintosh Plus vinyl record release, which is a single for Sick and Panic, which was released at the end of 2019. It took a long time to get made because the plant, like their picture disc maker, broke. This is actually my only picture disc. And one nice thing about it is the picture, part of the picture disc is on the side without any music, so you actually don't really get that as bad quality that you normally get with picture discs. As you can see, it says "Rise from Your Grave," which is, I think, said in the song. At least it says "Rise." Pretty cool looking record, right? I like the clear with the little bit of picture. Definitely, I like it a lot better than just the full picture. Picture discs aren't really my favorite, and a lot of people don't like them that much. I kind of just find them like more of a collector's item than an actual thing for listening to music. But this is a cool one. Definitely, we're still waiting for that new Macintosh Plus album that was promised. It's been a long time. Don't know what's really happening on it, but we're still waiting. See what's gonna come up, and this is a great song. So I hope it's good. So next, I'm going to take a look at my Geometric Lullaby collection. And Geometric Lullaby, Vaporwave label, do a lot of cassettes. They also do a lot of vinyl, and their vinyl pressings are kind of considered to be the highest quality in the Vaporwave vinyl scene. And my first one I ever got from them was Vacant Places by Fantasy. Great, actually the first ever Mallsoft album, believe it or not. You don't see this one talked about as much as I think it should be. They always have really cool looking Obi strips. I just realized that's the Blue Note record. Blue Note Records logo. Yeah, really cool. I love the feeling of this record. It's definitely the cover definitely encapsulates it. Unlike a lot of Mallsoft, which is kind of livelier and sort of makes you feel like you're in a live mall. This kind of feels like a dead mall soft. So yeah, definitely a cool one. I just realized all three of these records have been clear so far. I think that's it though. I don't think I have any other clear ones. Yeah, this one's pretty cool. It kind of has like a funny retro style labels. It's actually very good pressing. It's been sold out for a while, but it's a good album. Definitely one that I think is very underrated. And I don't know, it's just a very chilling but also relaxing Mallsoft record that really, it's kind of surprising how well formed the concept was, seeing that this was only the first one to ever be released. My next one from them is this one, which I believe might be my most valuable Vaporwave vinyl record. Give it some time and we'll see how that turns out. This is the News at 11 by Cat System Corp. Record. This one was a big deal when it came out because people really wanted it. And I was lucky enough to get the splatter variant, the red blue splatter variant on white vinyl. Definitely a chilling album, kind of somber, but also, you know, kind of if you didn't know, it's a concept album about if 9/11 never happened. So definitely, you know, not the happiest record, but it's one of the best concepts, I think, in any Vaporwave album. So we got this, we got the track list. I think it's my Skatefold record with the picture of the New York City skyline pre 9/11. And we can look at these records. It's a 2 LP. The first side is the News at 11. The first record is News at 11. The second one is like a Weather Channel kind of thing. And it's a very vibrant and cool looking patriotic splatter color. It's one of the coolest looking records I have in my collection, I think. Yeah, this one's definitely one of my most treasured possessions, I would say, in my collection. A lot of the people, it's sold out in minutes, so I'm just so happy I was able to get a copy. There's also a black variant, but that one's still pretty hard to come by. It's just, this is kind of considered to be one of the most coveted Vaporwave vinyl releases, I would say. Although they did make 1,000 of them in total, so a good amount of people are able to get them. 1,000 is a lot for a Vaporwave vinyl release. Next, we have another Cat System Corp record. This one we got Pall Mall Mars. This is also one they released News at 11 and Pall Mall Mars at like the same time, but this is a later reissue because they pressed only like 500 Pall Mall Marses. So in order to make some more, because it is also a very good Mallsoft album, they made another one. Pall Mall Mars, I think it's his best Mallsoft album. It's a great 2 LP, really relaxing. This is the reissue on Red, which I think might be the best one. It makes sense because Mars is kind of reddish. There's another one on Orange and another one on Green. And yeah, this is honestly one of the best pressings I own, and that might sound crazy. But I've played this so many times, to like fall asleep to just relax, and there's like barely any surface noise. It's like the tiniest little hiss. It's remarkable how well it's held up. Might be my most played record, honestly, and it sounds better than some new records you get. So yeah, that one's a great one too. Next we have Pharma by Mesh, another geometric lullaby release. This one definitely was one of the more limited ones, and a lot of people are kind of confused as to why, because it's a pretty well-known release, and Mesh is pretty popular. They did 3 variants. This one, which is a tri-color sort of thing. Very cool looking. They did a red one, like a clear red one, and a green splatter that they added after the first 2 sold out quite quickly. So they got funny little labels on the back. I think this is like a, somewhat well-known TV ad that ran in the 80s or 90s that's sampled on here. I guess he killed himself or something. I don't know. But this is one of their cooler releases because it has this really neat gatefold package with lyrics, I guess, and a write-up and really cool pictures. Definitely a neat one. Not very many. This is only 150, so sold out really quick. But then at the same time, no one's buying it because all the scalpers who tried to buy it and sell it were like trying to sell it for like $150, and no one wants to pay that much. So I don't know. This one is Towers by Towers. It's a self-titled ambient album. It's a duo. I'm not sure who the guys are, but it is a collaborative duo called Towers, and they made a pretty neat ambient album that kind of got really famous from Pat Chennington, who made a video on it. And this one, kind of disappointing. It has some manufacturing defects in my variant. It looks really cool, as you can see, but there's actually some little pops and like pretty big pops and clicks when it goes over this weird little white looking thing. There's actually a visible bump. I'm not going to try to show it to you here, but there's a visible bump right here that like boom, boom. It's like there's a little dimple, or not dimple, a little raised piece of plastic that got stuck there. So it actually is kind of a disappointing quality, especially after all the other great stuff they've done. But I don't know. I still think it was just kind of like a one-time thing that kind of messed them up. And this one actually really isn't Vaporwave, kind of. It's more of an ambient album, and it might just be called Vaporwave because of the label and Pat Chennington reviewing it. This one, pretty neat one again. Deep Fantasy by Surfing, which another one might not be considered Vaporwave if you're a purist, but I think it kind of counts. They use samples of like smooth jazz and stuff. I'm not going to take it out. It's a nice teal, clearish color from 100% Electronica. This is the final edition, I guess. And there's 130 of them, which is a pretty big number for a Vaporwave vinyl release. But yeah, this is a pretty cool one. One of my first Vaporwave vinyls. Definitely worth checking out as a record because it's really cool, chill vibes, some original singing, some original vocals and guitar work, which is something that's kind of what puts it apart from a lot of other Vaporwave releases. So yeah, it's Surfing Deep Fantasy. Here we have I Dreamed of a Palace in the Sky by Equip, the new reissue that they did. Nice Obi strip right here, along with got the track list. It's a pretty long album, just a bunch of short tracks, and nice, really cool gatefold design. and really, really neat looking splatter. As you can see there. I should take it out. Appreciate it. It really looks cool on the turntable. It's so blue, and the white really pops too. Definitely a cool album. I think this one might still be in stock, and one of the does a really good job of emulating that video game music style, combining it with the Vaporwave style and not being like cringe. Like a lot of video game inspired music is just really derivative and not very interesting. This, on the other hand, actually is quite enjoyable to listen to. I don't like most of that video game style stuff. I really can't stand, but this is something I actually really like. Oh boy, almost done. We got 100% Electronica. No, from 100% Electronica, Esprit.wave.zip. I don't know. Virtua.zip by Esprit Coup Soul. Esprit Fantasy, which is the Vaporwave alias of Georges Clanton. Got a really neat sort of like bluish wavy color. It's a very short album. The whole thing is contained in like side A, and then the second side is just bonus tracks. But yeah, it's a pretty cool one. This one actually might be my first ever Vaporwave vinyl record, I think. Gonna check out. I think there might be some available, but of a different variant still. So yeah, that's a fun one to check out. Fun, quick Vaporwave album, one of the first to use original instrumentation instead of samples. Although there are still some samples. Next, we got another Esprit release. We got Esprit Clouseau 200% Electronica, which is a sort of Vaporwave album of George Clanton album, 100% Electronica, which I also have, but I'm not including here because it's more of a chill wave, hypnagogic pop release than a Vaporwave album. But this one is definitely kind of more Vaporwavy. Got a really nice, it's called Lava. I don't know how to describe it. Has a very like greenish, reddish tint. To me, it's darker. The light comes through to you guys, so. But to me, it's kind of a dark red, darker green. Very cool, very neat. Another really just solid album that you can relax to, kind of. And this one might have a variant still. I haven't checked in a while. This was the first ever like standalone reissue of it, though. I remember they had released it as a bundle with 100% Electronica. But this was the first time they released it as a standalone release. One thing you can really like about 100% Electronica is they love to re-release records that that there is demand for, which is really nice because it makes it so that everyone has an opportunity to get it. Although Anime Scalper's mad because their record isn't as easy to sell because there's more copies out there. Here we have the new Windows 96 album. Well, not really new, but it's from 2020. On this like Coke bottle clear vinyl. Not the most incredible album, just a nice thing to listen to. It's a neat release. Some pretty decent like synth wavy songs on here. I like that Windows 96 signature sound. But I wouldn't say it's his most essential release or anything. But what I would say is his most essential release is ta-da! We got 100 Mornings, the deluxe edition by Windows 96, which a lot of people consider to be his best album. It's here on a super awesome looking, like it's kind of clear to you guys, but super awesome looking gray, black. It looks like stone. It's just so cool looking. My copy kind of was quite warped. I don't know if you can notice it there, but it's kind of bowled down here. So it doesn't really mess it up too bad. The sound, there's a little bit of surface noise, but I've cleaned it a lot, and that kind of helps lower that. Bit disappointing, honestly. Sometimes, you know, sometimes they don't work out. Sometimes vinyl releases can go bad, and sometimes shipping. I think it was partly to do with the shipping. The box seemed quite damaged when it came. So yeah, that's 100 Mornings by Windows 96. This one definitely one of the more controversial releases as of late. That's the Hit Vibes reissue. Controversial in that a lot of people's copies were quite damaged and didn't sound very good. Mine, on first listen, I was quite saddened because it had a sort of weird fuzziness, like it was different than normal static, but it was still definitely a problem. But I played it a couple more times, and believe it or not, it actually just kind of went away, which is great. Now it sounds pretty good. Not really any noticeable problems, nothing that like really stands out as like a bad record. I know that one guy from like Chile, obviously his had to go through international shipping. His arrived and it was like so wavy, a needle would not be able to play on it, so he flattened it out, and actually now it's perfectly flat, and it works. There is hope. If your records are horribly damaged, you can actually kind of fix them. It has Hit Vibes, good album, but a lot of people are kind of getting upset about the quality control. It wasn't released by a Vaporwave vinyl label, which you could say kind of can result in less quality control, I guess. It was released by Car Park Records, which is kind of like a indie rock, indie alternative label. Definitely a cheaper done pressing, but mine sounds good at this point. Oh boy, next we got Haircuts for Men, Dairi Sekino Fantasy Marble Fantasy, which is a pretty dope as frick Vaporwave record. I guess the term that is going around to describe this kind of music is barber beats now. People have kind of adopted that. I don't know why. And this is from Alice City Records, who kind of specializes in barber beats. They had a bit of a falling out with Haircuts for Men after he posted a lot of edgy memes on his Twitter. Posted something kind of rude to the Black Lives Matter protesters, and he kind of got kicked off Alice City Records, and now he's just doing everything his own. I don't think he's like a racist or anything. I mean, he's just an edgy guy. Look at his Twitter, it's pretty filled with the same, just making fun of conservatives all the time too. But all this kind of makes us forget about the fact that this is a very solid and relaxing Vaporwave release. It just kind of relaxed too, and it's really well done pressing. So yeah, it's too bad that this is the only vinyl record that could have come out of Alice City Records with Haircuts for Men, because if that hadn't happened, there would have been a much more if he had just kept it in. If he just hadn't posted that edgy meme. So we got a bit of a compilation from My Pet Flamingo of not a soundtrack, but sort of a compilation for the Nobody Here film, which is being worked on. The whole coronavirus thing has really put a stop to the whole process. They can't really travel and interview people, but we do have this cool soundtrack on a really neat looking split pink and blue vinyl record. There's a lot of really iconic tracks here. A lot of them aren't on vinyl, so things like Private Collar by St. Pepsi, SWAK by Luxury Elite, stuff by Death Dynamic Shroud and Mesh, stuff by Waterfront Dining and Catsup and Corp and Skeleton and Disconscious and Haircuts for Men, and all these great tracks that all in one place. It's a great Vaporwave record, great Vaporwave compilation. I'm definitely excited for that movie to come out because I think it'll be a great documentary on the type of music I love so very much, and so many other people like too. Okay, and next we got from Needle Juice Records, which is kind of a Vaporwave outright label, but they also do a lot of other stuff. A lot of it I'm not the biggest fan of, honestly, but they do a lot of stuff with Cat System Corp. This is Oasis Hakubutsukan, Oasis Museum, and it's a pretty neat and relaxing mall soft record, and it's a very well done pressing as well. Sounds great and looks incredible too. As you can see, it got a really cool splatter with the green and the blue and the clear. Really looks good. It didn't come out at all like the mock-ups suggested, but it came out better, in fact. Yeah, this was surprisingly one of the best pressings that fall under Vaporwave for me. It sounds really great. It's at 45 RPM too, so some people kind of say that improves the sound quality, but it has a really cool gatefold with some liner notes about it from Cat System Corp, who is Dutch. Talking about his experience, yeah. It's a cool Oasis. And finally, save best for last, my favorite Vaporwave album of all time, and one of the most desired Vaporwave records, I'll Try Living Like This by Death's Dynamic Shroud, which was, when this was released, it was a huge deal because the original was getting sold on Discogs for like $150, and it was impossible to get, even though it took like forever to sell out, so that's the funny thing. And this one is on an awesome splatter vinyl record, which perfectly suits the crazy nature of this album, which is full of like K-pop and various other pop samples, kind of just like gone into crazy mode. They're one of the most inventive, I would say, Vaporwave artists around. Neat little gatefold design. It's pretty much similar in the same. It's very similar. It has bonus tracks that were not on the original. It also has this neat booklet that was not on the original. It's modeled after the CD booklet with neat pictures, and I'm pretty sure I have a video on this channel about it, so you can look at it in more depth there. But yeah, this is a neat one. And I'm hoping they do more Death's Dynamic Shroud vinyl releases in the future, and that they will finally release their new album, which is coming up. Everyone wants to hear it. They've been teasing it for a long time. It was supposed to come out last year, but it never did. And we're all really excited about that because we have a feeling, well, at least I have a feeling, that it'll be like a really great album because they've done a lot of great stuff lately. And in fact, I also have a couple. They have a cassette club, or just where you get a new record or a new tape every month. I don't really collect cassettes, but they're neat. I have a cassette player, but these are a cool little option. If you really like Death's Dynamic Shroud, you can support them by getting these neat cassettes. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. This is a long video, I know, and a lot of Vaporwave vinyl records were displayed here. I hope you all check these records out. They all are worth your time, and they're all, just the whole Vaporwave vinyl scene is a great community, great people, great labels. It's a lot of fun, and it kind of has a feeling that a lot of other other vinyl communities don't really have, I feel, because we're all kind of just, we get the Vaporwave thing, and we also get the vinyl thing. I don't know how to describe it. But yeah, thank you for watching. This is a long video, and I talked for a long time about my little collection. And I might do some more collection videos in the future, so keep an eye out for those. Thank you.